Hi, my name is Glennis Barrett. I'm a special day class teacher at Forest Grove Elementary. I teach grades kinder through second, and I've taught for 10 years. Some signs of a struggling student are, and there are different signs. Usually it's, you see social emotional issues starting to take place. Kids start getting anxiety around certain areas in academics. You see behavior issues in some kids. And then you also see kids trying to avoid certain academic areas that may be hard for them. Before a child is evaluated to see if they need specialized academic instruction or an IEP, it's really important for teachers to involve parents. So at first, a teacher would want to meet with the parents and let them know what areas the child is struggling in. They'll talk about possible accommodations that they can do in the general ed setting. And then at that point, the child is usually referred for an SST meeting, but it looks like that's the next question. Okay. How do you determine if a student should be? Okay, that's a little bit different. That's not just the process. Okay, so when there are many different categories in special ed, so typically you see a child who's struggling academically, and so the team would have an SST, they'd have a follow-up SST, and potentially refer a child for testing in academic areas. However, sometimes the team will refer a child for speech, sometimes for emotional disturbance or autism, as well as other areas of need. Okay, so at our school, the first tier of intervention would be Title I, and that's actually not a special ed service. And so those children get help and assistance in their general ed academics in that classroom with targeted interventions usually. The next tier on our site is the Resource Specialist Program, and those are students who have been identified for IEPs for certain needs. And after that, for students who need more time in a specialized academic setting, or have behaviors that require more supervision, or need a smaller room because of outside stimulus, we have special day classes. So on our site we have 3 special day classes, my room, and then 2 others for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
This is Mrs. Newman. She is a 3rd grade teacher at Forest Grove. How many years have you been teaching?
Let's see, I've been teaching, this is my 9th year and my 6th year with 3rd graders.
Very nice. So I gave you a couple questions. What do you think?
Well, so let's just go through them one by one. So the first one was, what are signs of a struggling student? And I think there's a lot, but these are the kids that often misbehave. Often they look like they can't concentrate, or they're the class clown, or they're trying to get your attention on something else besides what they're doing. On the other hand, they can also look really tired and just tell you they can't finish something. And then some of these kids who have trouble with things will head to the bathroom a lot when something difficult comes up. The second thing you asked was, how can you differentiate instruction to assist students who are struggling? And I guess it kind of depends on where you are in the process. So if you were just noticing, then I would try working one-on-one with the child a little bit and try to get them in groups. Probably at the beginning I'd have groups that were same ability level, so I'd have a little bit of time to talk to them all. Sometimes I'll have individual kids come in for lunch, so then I could talk to them, because when a kid's struggling, you don't always know, is it with the schoolwork? Is there something going on at home? Is it an attention issue? So I like to sit down and actually meet with them. And then for math, I would say probably my favorite thing to do is pull out manipulatives. So if we're working on area, for example, we might get dice out and play a game called Rectangle Race. So they have to figure it out using dice and actually drawing the area. For reading, probably one of the best things they would do is have partner buddies reading. They could be similarly abled, or you could have a partner who is able to help the struggling reader. A lot of times I'll have a struggling reader find a lower grade partner. So I might have one of my struggling readers read to a first grader or a stuffed animal. How do teachers involve parents in helping struggling students? Boy, we really try to. I mean, we try to coordinate with parents through emails. We use Class Dojo, phone calls, send notes home, and try to get parents to tell us what they see at home. Also, once we start seeing a problem area, I like to have parents come in and I can show them tutoring ideas, maybe games to play or ideas about reading. Often these kids that are struggling, it's because their parents can't be involved. Maybe they are, two parents working late jobs, or maybe they're overwhelmed with something else. But we hope that we can have the parents work on learning these skills together with us. How do you determine if a student should be referred to special education services? Well, the first step is a teacher with the teacher's experience looking at the child and determining that they think maybe everything we're trying in class isn't working. And so then we have a whole team get together, a student study team, and everybody on the team might be the reading teacher, might be the school counselor, might be a resource teacher, might even be last year's teacher. Everybody sits down with the parents and brainstorms, what can we do to help? And then we try that for a period of time, probably 6 weeks, maybe a couple of months. And if those things aren't working and we don't see any progress, then we refer for an IEP to see if a child qualifies for extra help. And is that enough, or do you need to know?
You're good.
Okay. And then what is the school administration's directive for special education? So at our school, at any rate, the directive is just to follow the procedure. So teacher tries to figure it out first. If that doesn't work, we have a student study team. And if the student's still struggling, then we have an IEP to determine if there should be testing. Any other questions?
Well, I'm sure I'll be back. Thank you.
I think the most impact that the schools feel from the IDEA has to do with the special education program, that we need to ensure that all of our students are being educated in the least restrictive environment possible. And for us at our school, what that means is we have a few different settings for our students. Our students, the least restrictive environment that we have is the regular general education setting. And then the next one that we have is a resource program for students that are on an IEP. A more restrictive environment for that is our special day class program, which is a self-contained classroom where the students push out into the general education setting for about half of the day. And then finally, the most restrictive environment that we have at our school is when a student is assigned additional adult support to help them throughout the day. So what that looks like is an aide that accompanies the students to their classes through their educational program. So the way that it impacts our school is really we just have to make sure that all of our students are getting as much access to the general education setting as we possibly can, because what we want is our students that are on an IEP to have as much access to those grade level role models and the grade level curriculum that we can. We are lucky at our school to have an amazing special education team that works really well together to try to give the students the supports that they need in order to succeed in that least restrictive environment.